when you create that relationship with that writer, because you have to, how far do you push back when you have that type of issue? Because you have to wear a lot of different hats when it comes to dealing with different personalities. And sometimes some of the writers, one guy you can be like, the editor and say, yeah, I think we do this. How far back?
Well, generally what I'll do is I'll maybe drop a note to my editor, say, hey, how about we handle it this way or handle it that way, as opposed to try and get all this information into these little bitty panels that by the time you get done with everything, got all these little postage stamp size faces, and so generally, like, I don't really interact with the writers too much. The writers send the script to the editors send it to me, and then they rely on me to come up with trying to make it look good on the page.
And do you push back for a second proof, or?
Well, I try and give them what they've asked for, and like we were mentioning, I find the nugget. What's he really after here? Does he really need all this other stuff going on? Sure, we put that in there if we were doing a movie, but we're doing a comic book, and so sometimes you have to decide, okay, I just can't get all that information in to this little page. And if you don't straighten up, I'm going to have security walk you out. This is my daughter, by the way. This is Shelby. And this is her friend, Sammy.
Well, we're very embarrassed right now.
On that same note, when you guys receive scripts, when you talk to your editors, when you talk to the writers, where's the biggest defining moment as far as who defines pacing? Like you said, you have 6 panels and someone hands you a poster for 1 panel. Where's the big defining moment? Who makes the big decisions as far as pacing?
Let me find, that's a good question. I was going to ask you guys this, and it kind of falls in line. Have either of you, we'll go down the table, had a writer call you and say, okay, look, how do you like to work? Do you like a page breakdown? Do you like this and that? And then have that around. What's harder to draw? A book where 2 characters are having a conversation, or a big action, 22 pages of fight scenes? What's harder to draw?
Quite honestly, I think like fight scenes you would assume would be harder, but it's actually easier, being that the characters are in motion, so you can actually swing the camera around more frequently, and where they're positioned in terms of their environment actually gets kind of more ignored or put towards the background. Whereas when there's talking heads, usually they're not moving. So wherever you situate the characters, you have to make sure that that's consistent, and you don't want to swing the camera around too much, or the reader gets confused. So it's actually harder when they're talking rather than when they're fighting.
Yeah, I'll agree. It's just, when well, what I find is harder than even just the 2 people talking is when there's a group of people talking. And yet, some actually interact in the conversation, some don't. So then, you gotta determine whether, okay, do I need to show them as well, or even though they're like, if you're looking up here, you can see all 4 of us. But obviously, not all 4 are talking at the same time. So do I have to show all 4, or if they're sitting real close together, then I probably need to show at least 2 of them, even though the second is not talking. So then that can get kind of tricky, especially like if they're all standing around, say, looking at something on the ground. How you go about showing these people, and then say, it's been described as they're in a circle. Well, this guy on this side of the circle is talking, but at the same panel, I want this guy over here on this side of the circle talking. So you're pretty much either going to have to do an over and back shot, and show person A talking, and then just get the reaction vocals from this one and show them back. If you're having to do that for 22 pages, that can get very hard to keep coming up with the new angles and faces. Yeah.
Really good. Bendis has a lot of talking in his books.
I agree with you. It will get on pretty well. But yeah, they're right. Like fight scene, you have you get draws and stuff. You can play with the muscle and all that. Different angles.
get it right, with the dialogue, audio, it just keeps on. Small challenges